Good day, I'm Yulene Hamilton. I'm the Academic Coordinator of this module, EMAC 1511. First of all, I want to say welcome to the ACT family, especially to the content modules. Thank you for agreeing to be the facilitator of this module. I wish you a happy lecturing experience. Please do not hesitate to contact your academic coordinator if you have any questions. If in doubt who the academic coordinator is, please contact the university. First of all, I want to discuss the module in general, the documents that you and your students will need to work through this module. The first one that we are going to look at is the program guide. This provides the students with information about how the program is structured, the number of modules, how it fits into the qualification, what the qualification is for, etc., etc., including the structure and the nature of the contact sessions that you are going to have with them. It also outlines the assessment requirements for each module. The study guide will act as a teacher or a lecturer to the students in the absence of face-to-face contact between you and the students. It provides the students with information, guides them through the activities, and stimulates them to ask questions. They will find answers in the resources and share whatever they learn with their peers. The study guide reflects the idea that learning is a process rather than an event. The information in the content study guide is not a sufficient source of learning in itself. The students and you, the tutor, have to do some extra research, use extra resources to make sure that you cover all the content that's discussed in the module guide. This additional work will happen in study groups if the students are able to set them up, and importantly during the contact sessions with you. All of this helps to give students an enriching experience. The third document that you have to work through is the tutor guide. This helps you to understand the approach used in ACT. It also gives you important information about the teaching and learning process, and it also guides you through some of the activities and information in the study guide. One of your main functions as a tutor is to support the students. You should be familiar with all the documents related to your module before your first contact session with the students. This will enable you to support and guide the students as they work through the study guide on their own during self-study and during contact sessions. Therefore, as part of your preparation, you should study all the documents together before you attempt the teaching of this module. You should also work through the activities as part of your preparation. The approach that you will use. First of all, the theme of ACT is agents of change. We as the tutors need to guide our students to take responsibility in, firstly, changing the education system into a vibrant experience, where each learner is able to develop to their full potential and become responsible citizens. We need to take the opportunity to think critically about the way we teach, ask questions about what we do or what we used to do. Sometimes what we were doing was good. Other times we realized that we need to change the way we are teaching because the circumstances and the children have changed. Then, as students and teachers, we can become agents of change and make a difference in a changing society. The whole ACT and these modules use the Constructivist Approach. In line with this approach, all the modules in the ACT are interactive, student-centered, and based on the Constructivist Approach, meaning that students have to participate actively in and take responsibility for their own learning. The main focus of the ACT is applied competence. The ACT is aimed at improving teaching, and thus application is the key. The focus must be on becoming familiar with the theory and then to apply it using the content. In this way, the students will also practice during the contact sessions to apply the content and the applications in their classroom. You should spend time on guiding your students to master the skill of application. The aim of the content modules is to support the teaching modules and to give the students confidence when mastering the topics. It also can identify ineffective teaching methods and possible misconceptions some students might have. Support given by you as the tutor. Facilitation during the contact session, reflection in groups and in class situations, and then feedback of the study units, the study activities, and the assessments. The module is presented in 5 units, and during the orientation, which is the first contact session, you have to go through the module with them briefly, focusing on the types of tasks that they have to do and giving a brief outline of the work schedule for the module. Please see that you clearly explain what students have to prepare for the next contact session and where to find the information. Go through the study guide and plan your contact session thoroughly, being on the lookout for misconceptions and the subject-specific language in the module. This module is the first of 6 content modules. The first module will be on functions and calculus, second, finance, numbers and number patterns. The third module is algebra, fourth module, analytical geometry and trigonometry. Fifth module will be on statistics and probability, and the sixth module will be on Euclidean geometry. When working through the module, you will see that the module consists of 5 units. The first unit will be on Know the Functions. The second unit will be on graph interpretation and the average gradient. Unit 3 is on calculus. Unit 4, the tangents to a graph and cubic functions. And then Unit 5, the applications of calculus. Unit 1 is a summary of all the different functions learners need to know up to grade 12. It will then look at the parabola, the hyperbola, exponential function, logarithmic function, and the inverse function. It's basically a summary, a short summary of each of the functions with activities that will help the students to practice these functions. Unit 2, graph interpretation and the average gradient of the graph. It's sometimes very difficult for the students to do graph interpretation, and this unit focuses then on helping them to get through that difficulty. Unit 3, calculus. Here we discuss the limit concept, differentiation from first principles, as well as the different rules. Unit 4, the tangents to a graph and the cubic function. Here we look at finding the equation of a tangent to a graph and sketching the graph of a cubic function, which is also sometimes problematic to some students. Unit 5 is on the application of calculus, maximizing and minimizing problems, the rate of change, and calculus of motion. You must guide your students so that they are able to go back to their classrooms and give these topics to their learners. The work schedule and the learning. This module is a 4-credit module, which means students must spend at least 40 notional hours on this module to prepare themselves for the summative assessments. You will have 5 contact sessions of 2 hours each, which will be a total of 10 hours. The students then must use the other 30 hours for self-study or have study groups. The table in the module guide acts as a guideline on how many hours to spend on each unit. So please take time during the first contact session to go through this table with the students to guide them on how they have to spend time on each unit. The assessments. One assignment must be completed for the module and will contribute to the final mark. The assignment must be handed in at the beginning of contact session 3, and it will be total of 30 marks. One summative assessment will be written on the content and the application of the module, and this will also be 30 marks. Each module will have many activities and instructions to be completed, but these activities and instructions will be for self-assessment and peer assessment. If we look at the assignment, the aim of this assignment is to let the students focus on lesson plans, preparation, and the topic functions. They have to design a lesson plan for grade 12 learners on any part of functions. Specific instructions are given in the module guide, but very important, no templates of lesson plans may be used. They have to use the topics, the instructions in the assignment and build their own lesson plan. A rubric will be used then to mark the assignment. The other assessment will be a summative assessment. This will be written at the end of contact session 5. What the student should keep in mind when preparing for the summative is that the purpose of this course is to improve their teaching practice, not necessarily their content knowledge. Therefore, the assessment will require them to give evidence of their ability to teach the content effectively. Questions asked in the summative assessment will include content as well as application of the content. Basically, it comes down to having the knowledge of everything you do in class applied to mathematics in the FET phase using the topics, functions, and calculus. Please inform your students that any content can be asked from grade 10 up to grade 12 and not necessarily only grade 12. Remember, you are part of our team who is working together to better education for the future. It's also important that you believe in what you teach to the students. Get as many of the students as possible involved. A wise saying goes as follows: if you get the students to love you and your subject, they will easily pass and be willing to apply whatever they learn in their classrooms. Thank you for your willingness to be part of the bigger picture.